Hi, good evening. I'm Simone Filippetti, an Italian journalist, and our host tonight for our interview is Mr. Maurizio Bragagni, Italian entrepreneur and also a politician engaged into the British politics. So Maurizio, why Britain? I mean, what did bring you here from central Italy to Great Britain to London?
Well, that sometimes is also the question that I ask to myself, or my daughters and my wife ask me. It was just several circumstances. So when I started, when I had been offered by my family to join the family business on 24th of October 2000, there was really not enough space for me in Italy. So what they offered me was to move here in the UK. At that time, we have a joint venture in Sheffield, and to learn the business and to learn the English, because I was totally lack of English at all. I was one of the few members of my family that were not even have studied one single evening or one single season outside Italy to learn English. So
can we say you're some sort of, migrant expert that your family sent abroad?
Yes, we can say that. So basically, they said that if you want to join the family business, the family needs to expand, needs to be international, needs to be more global, and so basically, you can't think about that you can work inside of the family, inside of our company, unless you are a proper. You are able to speak in English. So they moved me in Sheffield for 1 year, and I work in a warehouse. So during the afternoon, I was from 2 to 6. I was working in the warehouse to work as a general worker, and in the morning from 8 to midday, I was going to school in a Sheffield language school.
May I interrupt you, just for the benefit of our viewers? To explain that the family business of Mr. Bragagni is a cable company. So this is whole manufacturing, whole style manufacturing and industry, which is, I think, to me, is relevant to point out, because you find many Italians here working and investing here in UK, in London. But 90% of them are in the finance sector, which is of course good, but in some sort of virtual or digital industry world. Here we are talking about all the style, something you can touch, something you can see in a real industry, which creates job, which builds warehouses, which builds facilities, which has employees. Something very physical, very real. So this is a real job, real industry, so real entrepreneurship.
Exactly. We were a cable manufacturer in Italy. Tratos has been created in 1966, and we were a cable manufacturer in Italy. And when my uncle offered me to join the company, as I said, it was very clear that I could only join if I was ready to go through a path, and the path was also to be more international. If you consider about that, I was at that time the only member of the family that was educated I was a lawyer in Italy. So basically, nothing having to do with the international business, or nothing have to do with the international or with the British society. So I moved to United Kingdom, and then after 1 year that I was there, I realized that the business needed to be more global. So I started to became the responsible for very special niches of products. That was these new design products that we wanted to launch, that was called Tratos Flex, in honor of our company that has a cable that has been used in cranes manufacture, in particular in all the ports around the world. So for 2001 up to 2015, I was traveling all around the world, 220 days as average per year, to set up company agency to create this market that was totally missed for our family, and it was very successful. It became one of the really largest sector in which we were involved, and also one of the sector in which we also collect more benefit, also more visibility. If you consider that all the ports in the world, so all 90% of the goods in the world are moving by containers. And we are serving one of the most important industry, that is the crane industry, the crane manufacturing industry. And one of the largest crane manufacturers is a Chinese manufacturer. So I started a very strong cooperation with this manufacturer. We still today, after 21 years, a very strong cooperation together. And we have supplied all the ports in the world, from Rotterdam to Singapore to Shanghai, and we're still to serving them with the spare parts and etc. And our important things was, because we are new in this market, we are the new incumbent in this market. So what was the intuition was that we could not compete to be just similar to what was in the market. So what we brought was a totally new product that was longer life, so on service, so basically was more reliable, even more expensive, but was more reliable than was the market has got it. And now Tratos Flex, in particular Tratos Flex ESDB, that is the product of the cable, it's one of the most reliable products in the reeling industry in all around the world. So during this path, through these years, what was also evidence that we needed to have a country that was understanding, was more flexible, where rule of law was easier and faster, and common law, it's really the international economical law, and that was very important. So all our contracts are according to the common law, or they are according to arbitration, and so they are here based in London. And that is the reason why at a certain point we realized that we need to be more present here also as a hub, as a generic hub for all our presence all around the world, that we have more than 36 cooperation around the world. So in 36 different countries. So we needed to have here in London something that could help and support our presence abroad. And also at the same time, we realized that the UK market was booming after 2008, the crisis. And so we realized that we need to be local. As you mentioned, we are a manufacturer, so we need to have a facility here. So we brought back the industry. We made a massive investment in the northwest of England, in Liverpool, in the Merseyside, and we started to give local jobs. And that gave us a very important premium and also very important visibility in the market, but also gave us also some advantages, competitive advantages. One of that was to be local, to be able to help a post-industrial country to have an industry back, and so to be able to dialogue with important clients like National Rail, like utilities, like National Grid, and with our expertise on the cable, we have been able to help them to adapt the cables to the new challenges on the world. Because if you think about high speed, the train of high speed, we are originally from Italy, both of us, and we know that the high speed is very famous in Italy, no? Il Pendolino, il Frecciarossa. Well, to have this, you need to have different cables. You cannot use the cables of they are running the simple transitional regional train. So you need to have a totally different infrastructure. And the cable is that. The importance of the cable that sometimes we miss is that whatever is modern life, and during the COVID pandemic, we have experimental the modern life with the Zoom, with the Meet, with all this interconnectivity. Without a fiber optic, without power, without a cable that they are updating for the needs of the time, you don't have that. You go back to the Victorian time, like this beautiful building.
This is a really good point, because I think we always forget. I mean, we live in this digital and material world these days. But the point is, all this cyber universe works because there are wires and cables bringing electricity first, because every appliance works with electricity, and electricity needs a cable or a wire, to work, just to transport, and also we need cables to transport data, all this kind of stuff, because of course we are all wireless, but at some point somewhere we need a modem or an antenna which transmits data, and the antenna, the modem is of course wired to some network. So all the modern society, all our modern technology relies on cables and wires. So I would say this is some sort of invisible industry, because of course it's not sexy, it's not appealing, it's not like a luxury brand, but it's essential. But I wanted to, to go back to something you said before. Pardon. From your words, I understood. I mean, I perceived that you saw Great Britain as a country where business was easy to do, and also you perceived as establishing here your activity was some sort of an upgrade because of the, say, the environment, in the sense of the economic, the judiciary system, all this, all the would say infrastructures, physical but also non-physical, that that a company needs to have to develop its business.
Well, yes, that is for sure what I've tried to say. In particular, what we have seen, what was very important at a certain point from 2008 was a market that was growing, and also a market that needed to have an industry back. That is the reason what I said. In 2008, when it was the first the Lehman Brothers, all the financial crisis, so all Europe and all the world was affected by that crisis. Also, us, we have been affected by that crisis. But the point was, when we have seen the opportunity to make an investment abroad, Italy, the country which there was very low competition because there was no national manufacturer was United Kingdom. So Italy, Spain, Germany, France, they got their own industry. UK was one of these countries that was totally serving, totally orientated in financial services, as you mentioned. So the industry has been left behind for a long time. And that is probably what Brexit wanted. Brexit wanted to collect back the industry, the opportunity for the country to be able to produce something inside and to be self-sufficient. Not in everything, but at least in the strategical sector. If you think about this, so our decision over there was an intuition, but was also an important decision for the fact that there were space for a cable industry again in the Great Britain. Also, in vision of the rumors that were also at that time, in particular, to call for a referendum against Brexit, against Europe. It was, for me, evident from the beginning that if that was going to happen, there will be a very high risk that that has happened, as in the end is happened. And so again, that could move us to be one of the few national producers. And the industry, in any case, all the industry, all this important industry. So there was a clear, important momentum for Tratos and us when in 2008 we decided to get in, because that momentum was decided by the fact that there could be a massive market where there should be service, but also they need to be upgraded. All the infrastructure in the country, there were infrastructure from the fiber optic, for example. In 2008, everything was based on copper. That was one of the countries with the low fiber optic around the world. And that is, without fiber optic, you do not have immediately instant information, so the financial service cannot work. So why fiber optic? Fiber optic, you have a signal that move inside of a cable at the speed of the light. In the copper, you have a signal that is moved at the speed of the electrical signal. So if every single second count for the stock exchange, so every single second that you can cover and you can recover thanks to the technologies is an advantage for the country that can implement that technology. So one was an economical, a strategical decision for all of this and also more. But also there was an analysis that was this. There was the country that we found it more common for all our contracts that we were signing around the world. So every contract, for example, in Singapore or in China or in Shanghai or in Australia, United States, there were always an arbitration by the common law based in London. So that was another element that has brought us here. So because we needed to understand that what was that element.
Let me interrupt you, because this is I think a very good example to show how this country is not only business friendly, but also is, very attractive to foreign investments, because here foreign investment, finds an environment which is very pro business, and also is some sort of recognized and shared all around the world. So the fact that this British jurisdiction is recognized all around the world, as you were mentioning the arbitration things, it gives you, a very I would say is a sort of a driver for business, because you know that, in every part of the world, you can have the same, the same rules, basically. So, and they all originate from here. Another thing, very fascinating is about your story is that your foreseeing decision more than 10 years ago to move or to establish also a business here, besides Italy and other European countries, has been successful, and the sign of this is that if you have the chance, or if it happens to some of you to go visit the Maurizio's headquarters, the facility in Italy, you will see that he has just at the entrance of the building, there's an Italian flag, which is quite, of course, it's a quite, very common, and you would expect this. Then there's a British flag, which is not so usual, but still, okay, it can be. There's a European Union flag as well, but the most curious or interesting flag is that you see this blue flag, which, by the way, is the same blue as the European Union, but it has a knee, the sign of a knee. And would you explain to us what does this flag mean?
Well, that is the Queen's Award flag. So that is the award from a company that has been recognized by Her Majesty the Queen as a relevant company in several sectors. We have won the Queen Award for 2018 for the innovation. We have developed these new products that was important. As I said, we came here also to implement new products and to help the industry to do the step that was necessary to allow the infrastructure to work. And so we created this new compound that was very important to be more flexible. In particular, we are using a lot for the new frigates. Tratos has been also awarded by a very important contract for the MOD, for the Ministry of Defense, and also very important contract for the NATO Rail. We have been awarded for 150 million contract for the NATO Rail. And this new compound is very important because they bring more safety, healthy, and in particular safety for the cable itself. The cable is dangerous because it brings energy, and because it brings energy, you can have a fire, you can have a short circuit, so you can have very dangerous, potential dangerous element. So we have improved that, the safety of the inside safety of the cables. And for that reason, we have been received a favor of Her Majesty the Queen with the Queen's Award that was being delivered to us.
I mean, this is something huge, because as far as I know, but of course you can be more precise than me. This is the first and only company in Italy which received this, very prestigious, award. So it means that there's it's of course it's an honor for you, but also it's an honor for Italy, and I guess it's something that ties the bonds, which are already strong, but make the ties stronger between UK and Italy.
Well, yes, we need to be clear, we need to clarify a very important point. The company that have received the Queen's Award is our British operation, because the Queen's Award can be given only British operation. But as the Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside made very clear, it's the first time, exactly using your words, it's the first time that a company that has got still to have the heart of his own operation in Italy has received the Queen's Awards. That means the favor of Her Majesty the Queen, a recognition of Her Majesty the Queen for a great contribution of the British industry, in particular in a very exclusive sector, that is innovation. So basically, there have been the confirmation that Tratos is the innovator of the cable industry. That is, we have received the maximum that we received.
Based on an Italian technology.
That is based in British-Italian technology.
That's why, I was talking about the bonds, because
yes,
it's something which is some sort of plan, designed, engineered in Italy, then manufactured in Great Britain. So you see these, say, I would say, you know...
the cooperation was bought.
Okay.
So, but in particular, that was developed here in the United Kingdom. Then there was a lot of our engineers that were coming from Italy, that is obviously. So there is a very mix, like I am British-Italian. As always, I say I'm big. I'm British-Italian, C, you can use citizen. So, it's a mix, and I agree with you. Not only a bond, not only a strong tail between Italy and the United Kingdom, also, I always would like to say, it's difficult to divide it. It's like the... Il Barone di Mezzato, a famous book that we have read when we were young. So there were two elements of the same unity. So I think that there is a very strong, for sure, elements between the two countries. And probably the Queen's Award in us prove it that when you have the both components, British and Italian, you could do something even more important. And an example for all of that is Marconi, no? One of the greatest inventor was British and Italian either.
Yeah, but speaking about bonds, at some point of this path, as you described it, the bond was not only industrial or commercial or just related to industry, but it started also to become a bond on politics and on, say, a deeper level of engagement between the two countries. And for you, I would just like to remind. Something which has happened very recently in the Republic of San Marino, which is one of the smallest country in Europe, and also, more importantly, the oldest republic in Europe, is a landlocked country in northern, some sort of northern Italy on the mountains. And some days ago, two very important British politicians, the former Prime Minister Theresa May and the former Minister Jeremy Hunt, they got an award from the Republic of San Marino, I mean the most prestigious award in that country, and that was possible because of you. So would you be so kind to to tell us how from a cable we end up to San Marino and to Theresa May and Jeremy Hunt?
Well, that is another very fascinating story, but to make very short, Theresa May and Jeremy Hunt has been recognized the highest honor, that is Knight of the Republic of the Order of Santa Agatha, for their service in the Republic, in particular during the COVID-19. Jeremy Hunt was the first international politician that responded to the appeal that we did it as a state, and in particular that I did it as a Consul of San Marino here in the United Kingdom, in which they immediately act, and that we have received also several support by local press like The Sun and others. And after that, the Republic of San Marino started to receive international support. And Theresa May the same, she was very important in that, but also Theresa May has been recognized by the Republic for her incredible job, in particular on support on women, on support of women in life, and to support the fact that the gender agenda, that women in politics, women in modern life, and also to support the anti-slavery, the modern Anti-Slavery Act. So for that reason, the Republic has to recognize. How I was involved with the Republic is that at a certain point during my setup here in the United Kingdom and my travel all around the world for bring orders for our company in UK and Italy, because that is my job. My job is to collect orders. That is what I'm quite good, let's say, in doing that. It's I found the Republic of San Marino that they were looking for having someone who could be a consul of the Republic here in UK, in London, resident consul, to help the Republic to carry on. In particular, their connection, the important elements that they found it is because the Republic is one of the few countries, and is the only country in Europe with the United Kingdom that have a common law, but is surrounded, as you said, by civil law. So they need it for their identity. And that identity is not only a legal identity, but it's also an identity that is more deeper. For example, United Kingdom and San Marino, they share the same value about what means democracy. Democracy means accountability. So MPs are accountable to the people that they vote them. And each other, they have these very strong elements of connection. So their accountability. And so for all of that, they were looking to reopen a stable relationship with the United Kingdom. And I've been very honored. To be honest, I don't really know what was the exactly moment, but I've been very honored. They have been selected me, and they have asked me to be the Consul General of the Republic of San Marino here in the United Kingdom. And that is the reason why then Jeremy Hunt and Theresa May, when I asked their help to support San Marino, they do it. And also,
yes, let me add, they're also one of the bonds that link UK and the small Republic of San Marino is that during the COVID crisis, during the pandemic, UK, and while Italy was struggling with the crisis, UK, very generously provided San Marino with the help and medicine, and medical supplies, which of course were very helpful for a country that is so small that does not have any, say, chemical or labs or industrial facility which can produce supplies or something you needed during a pandemic.
Yes, and that also for that reason, for example, not only Theresa May and Jeremy Hunt has been appointed Knight of Grand Officiale of the Republic of San Marino of Order of Sant'Agata, a Grand Cross, but also for example, Professor Uday Hakim, Vice President of the Red Cross, the British Red Cross, has been appointed Knight because the Red Cross support the San Marinese Red Cross during that pandemic. And also Professor George Holmes, Vice Chancellor of the Bolton University, has support San Marino during that pandemic. And also the other two knights that have been appointed just a week ago were Dominic Johnson, that from Department of International Trade, for the new relationship between the United Kingdom and San Marino, and also for Andrew Rosendahl, that is the chairman of the all-parliamentarian group Friends of San Marino. That is, I think, that is a great, really novelty in all the relationship between United Kingdom and San Marino. San Marino is not only one of the oldest republics in the world, but now is one of the few countries. There are only 25 APPG groups in this country, and one of this is dedicated to San Marino. So there is parliamentarians for all the parties, from Labour, SNP, Green Party, Conservative, in the United Kingdom, that they have set up a group of friendship with the parliamentarians in San Marino, and we have just a visit a few weeks ago in which they've met physically for the first time, and that is also very important. So the two parliaments of the two oldest democracies in Europe, they are starting to talk each other. So not only is a friendship between our consul, myself, and the establishment in UK, or the politician here in UK, but it's also the two parliaments that they are now talking each other. And that is the thing, that the great job that we have done.
Well, speaking about parliaments, there's also another, say, a political activity you're involved into, which is the British-Italian Conservatives. So, which is, so this is the Italian hat of Maurizio, not the San Marino hat. So Maurizio is you are the promoter of the British-Italian Conservative, but also this is a very unique group in some sort of sense, because it's the only one who's survived after Brexit.
That is correct. I was one of the founders of the British-Italian Conservative. As I always use, I'm big, British-Italian. The C, you can use it as a conservative, a citizen, or you can use even as a Catholic if you want. or whatever. British Italian Conservatives is a foundation that has been created by a group of people among us. But it's the story of the British Italian Conservative. I can't say that I'm the inventor of that group. That is not true. No one can say that. Because the founder of that entity is Benjamin Disraeli, the founder of the Conservative Party. Because Benjamin Disraeli was a man with Italian origin. So you see that our connection with the British society is very long. If you want, we can start it from the Roman, but even a recent one, even the party in power at the moment, the Conservative Party, has been founded by Disraeli, Benjamin Disraeli, that he was a man with Italian origin. He was Italkim, so he was coming from his family was originally coming from the Jewish community in Rome. And in fact, Italkim, that is the community, how they call it. So the community that was present in Rome, the Jewish community that was present in Rome since the Roman Empire, during Jesus Christ, when it was under the control of the Roman Empire. So you can see that it was this very long link. What I have done when I was moving here in the UK, and I wanted really to be more understanding more what was this word. As I said, I need to understand what was more the common law, so I went to the Cass Business School and I have my MBA, now it's called BASE.
We'll talk about education later.
Yeah, but and this in the same path of so the same path that was for me, my curiosity is bringing me to understand what it was to better understand the environmental which I was now projecting, which I live it. I started to study the history and see the links, the immense link between Great Britain and Italy.
But you wrote a book about this.
I wrote a book with, that was another very nice story, because the co-author of that book is a Cerreta, and she is Basque origin, but at the same time, one of her grandmother is a Bragagni, so is my cousin in the Basque country that I met here again in the United Kingdom, and we have the same passion, and we started to write that book. That was exactly that. So to start to say the history of the Italians and Great Britain, what was that link? And so at a certain point, for me, it was natural to revitalize with other group of friends, a group that was the British Italian Conservative, so the Conservative Friends of Italy.
May I ask, why did you choose the Conservative Party?
I don't think that I choose them, they choose me, or vice versa. No, really. It's again, on my curiosity, I found it, of course, I'm a traditionalist. That is an evidence in what I am, and I love tradition. And during my frequentation to the Cass Business School, I met some friends that they invite me to join to some events. During this event, I met people like David Cameron, at that time Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and step by step I was fascinated by the democratic system that was involved here in the UK. In particular, that the fact that each MPs, they have to canvass in, they have to knock the door during the weekend in their constituency. That is an experience that we don't have it in Italy at all. We don't even know who is our own MPs, if you know what I mean. And so I started to frequent a lot of them, and with some of them I also started to canvass during the weekend. And of course, I'm resident in the city. And my local MPs was a conservative, so I started to canvass with him, so I started to go around, and I started to be more involved. And then I started to understand the history of the Conservative Party, and I found fascinating that it's a very broad church. So from outside you see a monolithic. My reality is like the Catholic Church, that from outside you see, oh, it's not only that. There is so many reality inside that they are absolutely incredible. And then I started to also to find, for example, the importance of the Conservative Friends of Israel. And it's a huge community with the old background. Of course, majority of them, they are Jewish, but that they welcome me in a very exceptional way. And I start to be friend with all of them. And the more that I start to be friend, more I I was appreciated what they were doing, and so basically to step by step, I was so admired them that I thought, well, if we have a conservative friend of Israel, we can have also a conservative friend of Italy. And that is when I started to think about, and then when we created British-Italian Conservative. So it was just, basically I was fascinated by the value, the tradition. Also there is an historical point of view. If you think about, also that is connected with the history of my family, and that is also connected with San Marino. If you think about the history of Italy, my village was destroyed by the German army during the 1944, during the Linea Gotica. So we lost everything, and then Italy was saved by the fact that the alliance have won, and the prime minister at that time was Winston Churchill, member of the Conservative Party. And then after that, the Argentina, that was a country where we are very long, my family in particular, very strong connection, and all the Italian has been very strong connection. There was, came back after very incredible, horrible dictatorship, thanks only the fact that Margaret Thatcher won the Falkland War, because then the colonial regime collapsed and the democracy was restored. And again, she was a member of the Conservative Party. And if you think about also San Marino, my family, San Marino during the Second World War has received more than 100,000 people. There were only 12,000 people, and they host more than 100,000 refugees from all Italy, and included 12,000 Jewish people. So I think that, and in that group of people, there were also people related to myself and my family. So what I see is that for me was a very simple way when I came here in UK to serve San Marino, to say thanks for what they have done during the Second World War to so many Italians, and to become a member of the Conservative Party because what I've done for all Europe during these years. So it was more a natural attraction, if you want, or not disclosure point than is a plan. It was totally unplanned.
Well, but also as a result of this strong relation, after the 2026 referendum on Brexit, all the others, British conservatives entities, all over Europe. So there were the French British conservatives, the German British conservatives. They all disappeared. And the only one who's left in Europe is the BIC, the British Italian Conservatives. So which some sort gives the idea of how much is this relationship strong, and also how much Italy is some sort for the UK is the, I would say, the country who can can have some sort of a bridging function between UK and the UAE.
Well, for sure, as I said, there is a very deeply both love. I always says my mother is Italian, my wife is British. Never ask me which country I love more. No, just to make clear that also. My position is quite a compromise position. It's inevitable that it's difficult to separate these now two entities. Even by age point of view, I spent 25 years in Italy, and now I'm 21 years in UK. So it's very close the average point, which both countries have a very important contribution to my life. So that is not all in my position. I think that is all the position of the 700,000 Italians, now more than half of them residents in UK, more than half of them already British citizen, that they want to stay here, they want to build their life here, they have the family, they share the value, they share the easy life, that easy from the legal point of view, from a lot of advantages, we said. But also, I think that the major difference from our group, the British Italian Conservative, and all the other groups that they disappear after Brexit is because, again, it was my curiosity. I wanted to understand really what was the deeply, what means really Brexit? Why the people, why the British people, even those, as I told you, from from an economic point of view, I was investing because that could be happen. So I want really to understand what was deeply inside. And I had the privilege to have a connection and friendship from Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, to Theresa May, to Jeremy Hunt, Greg Clark, Sir John Hayes, but also Sir George Howard, that is Labour MPs, that they help me to understand better what Greg Hans and others, that they help me really to understand why that happened. And that is what miss, and that is still missed by a lot of people in Europe. For example, has been immediately understood by San Marino. San Marino had a referendum, equal referendum, to join to Europe and say no. So the point was this: when you have a democratic system in which you know who is your MPs, and you give the power to an MPs to represent you, and to represent your constituency, and to do the interests of your constituency, you cannot accept anything that is abroad to dictate what the constituency, or how to grow the tomatoes, or how to do it, something that constituency, because you want to be informed, you want to be part of that democratic process. The perception, it's true or not, but the perception of the European Commission, of the European institution, we are looking now that that perception is extended to other countries. So I think that is also a belt, an alarm bell to everyone. That perception is that what is in Brussels is far away from what the people, the local people, the community people wants. And we have to admit this. Was not only Brussels, was also the globalization, but COVID, and also what all the government they are doing now, to invest in a local community, to invest in bring jobs back. That Tratos, for example, we never offshoring. We always have wanted to have our roots, as you made very clear, our headquarters still in Italy, in Pieve Santo Stefano. I'm here like an exiled member of the family, if you want, more than anything else. But the point is that we are always built our roots in our community. Our mission as a company is to create jobs in poor areas. We have done in Pieve, we have done in Catania, we have done here in Knowsley. So other companies have just fallen what is easier, so they delocalize. The people didn't understand that. And the reaction of that was, in particular, we want to be in charge. We want to be in charge of our fate, of our destiny. So I think that the major difference was that, let's say that British Italian Conservative got people like me that we were curious to understand the real, deeper reason, and to cope with the fact that we are in the country and we need to do our part. That is the reason why the British Italian Conservative today is still existing. And even after the COVID still had done a lot of events, still ongoing. But the point is that British Italian Conservatives still a strong presence inside of the National Community and Conservative Party.
I can see from your story this deep engagement for this country. I mean, you came here as I would say, as something, someone from abroad, but you immediately, some sort of got into the country, into the culture, and so now I can see, you have like a deep engagement with this country. We have seen the Maurizio, the entrepreneur, with the Tratos UK company, old-style manufacturing company. I like to stress this because I think it's important. Second, we saw Maurizio, the politician, with his double hats of consul of the Republic of San Marino and also the representative of the British Italian Conservatives. But there's also another side of Maurizio here in UK, which involves, and you mentioned it before briefly, education. And this is also a huge commitment you have.
Yes, that's true. I just want to make clear that in the three hats that you have described on the beginning, I'm not unique, because Lord Charles Forte, but the difference was that it was moved here in the UK when he was very young. He did all his career in the UK, but the Lord Charles has already got, previous than me, those 3 hats. He was an entrepreneur, very famous for the Forte hotels, and also was the Consul General of San Marino, and was also Lord Forte, so member of the Conservative Party. So I think that in that I'm not really original. Again, I'm only one that knows the story, and probably for different points we achieved the same path. On the educational, I'm considered that really my unique part in that story, because I was always very curious. My family is coming from a farmer family. My grandmother has always said, for educate our children, we do everything, and they've done everything. So they pay very high cost for their education to send it abroad in college, and when there was not even bread in the house. But the important thing was education. And during my education, during the university, I also met this exceptional educator that was Father Giussani, which I say he's always have said, remove us from everything, to be naked, he was said. Leave us naked, but leave free of educated. So education was really in my DNA, not only for my family business, but for my family, but also for the fact of that the encounter that I did during my life when I was at the university. And it's always been a massive investment for me in education. As I said, after that I was a doctor in law in the University of Pisa, one of the oldest universities in the world. So I didn't collect my degree from some secondary university. So after that, I made my MBA, my Master in Business Administration, in 2014-2016 here in London, to, at that time, Cass Business School, now Base Business School, City, London University. I received also an honorary doctor in business administration by the Bolton University, in which I'm also visiting professor, and I'm also honorary senior fellow visiting to the Cass Business School, and that is, for me, education is really the only way how we can compete, how we can still alive, how we can make sure that you are not redundant. So you need to always continue learning, always continue educate yourself, and also that is, for example, what we have done. That is always what I've done. Tratos, to be an innovator, you need to invest in education. To invest in education with an internal academy, to educate, to help your people, to understand, for example, now the digital era. So all the new way how to communicate during, for example, the pandemic is totally changed. You need to understand how they work the social media, how they work the threads, how people around the world are search your products. So it's something that you need to continue to accept, to leave your comfort zone. That is for sure what I've done in all my life. I had a degree that it was given me to become a notary, as I was a doctor in law, without any English. Instead, to go from the notary path, the very safe path, to become a notary in Italy, with no English at all. I moved to United Kingdom. We started again, because when you come in a country that you don't know the language, even though you are a doctor in law, you started from when you are 5 years old. In fact, as British, I'm only 21 years old. Let's say that I cut also my age, because then you have to learn, you have to retrain yourself. And that is what I've done always. And education for me, it's really a key how we can, in the modern time, approach the challenge that we have in front of us. That is also the reason why I consider education not only the static university education, that I prove it that I'm able to do it. And again, the Cass Business School is the second finance school in England. So we are not talking about a minority university. We are talking about always the top. But I also admire the education in any way. So education is really continuous learning. I'm, for example, a chartered director from the Institute of Directors. To become a chartered director from the Institute of Directors, you have to do it a course to become first to have the degree from the Institute of Directors, then the diploma from the Institute of Directors and chartered. Why also that? Because also the institutional, like chartered directorship or Institute of Directors or Institute of Technicality, Technical Institute, or also course like so you can learn from anything and from everyone. And that is what we have to accept. We have to accept that we are a permanent student if you want really to understand how this world is going, and if you want really to make the difference in this world.
Today, a modern company, a modern enterprise, I mean, it has not only to be profitable, of course, but now, you know, more and more attention is brought on the ESG side. So also what does a company or a person does, you know, for the society is social commitment. Do you find time in all of your activities to also to be also a social entrepreneur or some sort of social commitment?
But my cousin Ennio would like to say that we are a very social company because since our foundation 1966 we have never paid dividend, and also we have a very strong commitment with the local community. So we have learned, and also from the political point of view, my uncle Albano has been mayor of our town for 20 years. He had never collected any salary or bring one expense for what is duty and job. So we have received a very strong example. So lead by example is one of the very important things inside of Tratos. And the example is that you do politics for free, and the company has an important social element. Not because you need it or because now is cool to do it, but because the company brings jobs in an area in which it is. And so that is the first responsibility, is your stakeholder, your people, to give a job, to give a good paid job, to give a proper commitment on job. Work is a very important element of our ethic, an ethical of work. Daniele, my cousin that made his study and the Bocconi, in his thesis said the Bragagni family, even we are Catholic, we have a very strong Calvinist culture of work. But the point was that when I was here also, we needed to understand the environmental in which we are. And this environmental needed to have a proper vehicle where we could support our social activity, and we create the e-share life, share the life in the digital era. That is the meaning and the purpose of this foundation is in his own name, share the life in the digital era, and that is what we did it. So and in particular, well, that was what I did it when I was to the CAS Business School. I went to Palo Alto with the professor Gianvito Lanzola. It was an amazing experience. I get out with tons of ideas to create new companies. It was incredible. I really wanted to be 18 or 15 and to be there in Palo Alto to create a new unicorn, a new billions company in this digital revolution. But then I came back, and with my wife and other friends, Alessandra, we decided to create something that was for a social purpose. And that is when we create the e-share life, the foundation that has been recognized by the Charity Commission. And in particular, that foundation has a very specific scope that, as I said, for me, education is very important. So we help education, and in particular, women education in a developing country. At this moment, we have more than 3,600 children that we have adopted, give them an opportunity, thanks to AVSI, our partner charity foundation in Kenya, where we help schools, like the Little Prince schools and in Zito schools, to help and to educate, in particular women. Because what is very important is that if you want really to give an opportunity, if you want to have democracy, if you want to have peace, we have seen that the country that give up an opportunity to women, they are countries that have their better successful in their history, and to relegate or to avoid or to reduce women, that is half of our population. But not only half of our population, it's more than that. Because in nature there are 125 women for every, 104, sorry, for every 100 men. So basically there is a majority population of women. And to remove that by any equation, to don't give them the opportunity to be educated, to have the same opportunity that a man, not even, is a very stupid form of racism. But the point is that you remove half of our capital human to be able to build a better society. And you remove the capital human that they give their life. So that is really something that is a madness for me. Even though I'm a man and I hope to be a gentleman, but we invest in education on women, because that is the best part that we can do it, to give them the same opportunity that a man have. And that is the only way that in this modern time we can bring education. It's the only way really to improve all the issues that we have around the world. They are lack of education. The issues that we have in Africa, in the Central Africa, where we have a dictatorship or where we have a civil war, is because a lot of women have not been educated. The rape or the forced marriage for young women, that is ridiculous. That is absolutely something madness. If I think about my daughters, I have got 4 daughters from 9 to 15. Think about that at 9, somebody can murder my daughter. That is really something that infuriates me. And so the only way to avoid that is to educate the people. And sometimes, that is the reason why we set up this foundation and to help, for example, education in Kenya. It's because sometimes the poverty is so desperate that when a child arrives at 9, they prefer to sell it. And to give away because they don't have enough money to feed that. So the important to donate, to support charity, for example, as Share Life, to donate money to the charity Share Life is to give opportunity that we can pay for the education of the child. So basically help the family to say, you don't have to sell your daughter, you don't have to sell your family, but what you can do it. If you give us your support, if you help us, we can pay for their education. So bring her up to 18. After that, got a good education. That you will remove from the risk to be married to a 60-year-old man or 70-year-old man, and to become a slave, a modern slave by de facto, but to have an education, and so basic to have a possibility to have a future. More women we have been able to educate it, better will be our society, better will be their society, and less issues we have, like the illegal immigrants, like the human traffic. That is absolutely ridiculous. And the point is really education. And that is the reason why every year, here in London, we have a party, a dinner, where we raise money for Share Life. This year, for example, will be the 8th of December, in which we raise money for Share Life. And what we found is that there is massive participation, not only from the political people that we have mentioned, but from all the finance people.
So let's try to increase the number of people. So inviting all,
yes, of course,
all the people who are watching this, please join the Share Life Foundation dinner in December, and please be generous in order to help women in countries which are in need.
Thank you. Thanks. That I just pass the same message as you say, and you can acquire the tickets by Share Life Foundation in the website, or there is tons of different way how to support our
we'll
foundation.
Make sure to have maybe a link in this video, so you can click and buy tickets for December, and make a good thing for Christmas.
Thank you. Good point.
Well, this path of yours, from these three different ways, the entrepreneurial one, the political one, and the educational one, but then brought some sort of result this year, when you have been last summer, when you have been awarded of the OBE award from the Queen, which I think is something that it's a coronation of your journey. I mean, you arrived here without speaking any word of English, and after 10 years or so, you end up receiving a very exclusive and prestigious award from the Queen again.
Yes, again, yes. Majesty the Queen has been. So to be honest, I was really moved by when I received the news that I was appointed officer of the British Empire, the most honorable British Empire. In particular for business and volunteer activity in politics. I was astonished because it was, as you said, a clear message that I've been noticed. And again, that is what astonished me. But also what astonished was immediately the letters and the call that I received during that period. We were with my family, my wife and 4 daughters, moving to south of Italy for holiday after a very long lockdown we needed. And we were traveling, and the signal was not very good. So, and I received so many calls that I was really moved. And I want only to tell 2 of them because I think that they are also sign of what I told you. One call was from there was a call that I'm still moving now. Said, "Oh, hello, hi. I'm Stuart Pollack, Maurizio. We have met several times, and I would like to congratulate you for the Order of the British Empire that you have received." So it's Lord Pollack, one of the founder member of the Conservative Friend of Israel, and of course I knew him, and of course I was, but he didn't use his title, and it was straight on the point. Says, "Really well deserved. I didn't want to disturb you, but you are very well deserved. We are very proud of that." So they were proud for me, and I was really moved by that call. And
Maurizio, let me just interrupt you, because as you speak, I was thinking, in the last like 30-40 years, we have been in Europe. Many people in Europe have been, living or looking at the American dream, as an exceptional way, of having success, in the world. So we have like dozens, hundreds of movies of the same, showing all these, examples of American self-made men. But I mean, as you tell us your story, your history, I'm thinking that there's also a British dream. So we don't need to go to America, to have success and to make it. But you are an example of a self-made man who had success and recognition and has been awarded here in the UK, which is like 2 hours flight from Rome.
Well, I accept that I'm a successful person. I am. I was born successful because when I was born, I was alive with the other 4 generations alive, so 5 generations alive, and I was the only male surrounded by women. And today I'm a father with 4 daughters and with a splendid wife, Alessandra. So I agree that I'm successful, but I'm not a self-man. The British dream, or what I try to tell you, it's that you do not become what you became alone. In fact, what astonished me when I received,
you need like an environment, or a lot of things to help you. But since you came into this country, I mean, you realize you build everything from scratch, starting from the language, which is the first thing. But I mean, there was no. I mean, your family, had the company before, but you established. I mean, the UK business, from zero. And so this is, in my view, some sort of, self-made man example.
So in that respect, I agree in what you said, that the country offers you a possibility. And yes, well, the motto of my family is nil difficile volenti. Nothing is impossible if you wish, and I think that we can prove it that. But the point that I want to make is that, and that is the point also of the phone call that I received after that recognition, is that it's really a recognition from a group of people, from people that the friends that you built during your path, that they support and help. Of course, the possibility here in the United Kingdom, it's that if you have a dream, if you want to be something, if you want to become a player, if you want to become, you have an opportunity. And the life for the talent is easier. I always say we need to recognize talent. And that is also in the book that I have written, and talent is the most important thing. And if you have a talent, if you put talents, this society recognize that talent and help you, and they celebrate with you the talent. The merit of one, the glory of all. That is one of motto, for example, of my university. So the merit of one, the glory of all. And that is what I like from this society, that they support you. And in that respect, I agree with you that if you have really, even like I only half a talent. But if you put that half a talent, if you work in your half a talent, that talent produces another talent. And the two together, they produce 4 talents more. So it's, if you started to invest in your passion in this country, you have a chance. If you have a talent, if you have even half a talent or whatever, even 0 point something, you can optimize and you can build something that can be give you great satisfaction, like to receive the officer of the British Empire for Her Majesty the Queen. And as I said, when you get that letter and you started to really tremble. In fact, as soon as I received that email, I was passing to my wife and to Zelia and to all my friends to say I could not reveal it because it was under no disclosure, under embargo, but I needed someone that could read it because I say, look, did I understand well? Yeah, so even though it was very clear in English, they say, oh, okay, I may kind of miss something. But that was, and in fact, the second call that I received was from Greg Clark, the MP, at that time. And again, it was a call that said, really congratulate because you really deserve it. So what I was astonished was that the fact that the people recognized that was Her Majesty the Queen did it, that I consider really, I was not really consider that it could be, that I could have enough merit to be recognized. The people and the friends around, they were very pleased because that was very well merit. And that is what really astonished me by this society. Everyone were celebrating, even my university, just like to say, it's one of us. Yes. So it's a member of us. So my university, either Bolton University, that the Cass Business School, that the City University, or also like the Institute of Family Business, that we are a member now since all of them, the Company of Communicator, that I member as a free man of the City of London, everyone, they want to say, this guys, it's one of our fellow. It's one of us. And that is what really makes the difference between Italy and United Kingdom. In United Kingdom, everyone wants to celebrate your success, and everyone wants to share your glory, even though its merit is yours. And that is what I appreciate. Because you say that I'm officer of British Empire, but I also Knight of Italian Republic. I didn't receive the same the same attentions. The same attention from my university, for example, from my university on Pisa. So it's a totally different culture. Here is a culture where each, probably because it's more military country, so that when you receive an award, normally you have survived. So everyone wants to celebrate the fact that you are still alive.
Well, I want to do some sort of, wrap up of all of this. So we have three Mauricios here, or maybe 4. The entrepreneur, the politician, diplomatic also, because consul is a more diplomatic activity, and then the education side of Maurizio. But if I would like to, to try to sum it up, I would use the expressions that you are truly a Renaissance man. And also because, you know, the city you were born, the part of Italy you were born, was also at the time the womb of the Renaissance. So the small village Maurizio was born is Pieve, which is near San Sepolcro, which is another small town in central Italy, in Tuscany, but not like Florence, very distant from Florence. But this is the city that every art student in the world knows, because you know, had given birth to Piero della Francesca, was the one who invented, you know, the perspective in painting. So it was a revolution in the painting. So if you can admire all these beautiful paintings here, also the National Gallery, it's because this you know, this person, you know, back in Italy centuries ago, you know, just revolutionized. And if you go to the main church, I mean, the main building, the town hall, not the church, town hall in San Sepolcro, you will find this beautiful fresco with the Christ, you know, coming up from when he's from the coffin, and this is, you know, the revolution of the, we say, Western civilization somehow, but also part of this reference to art, San Sepolcro, which is some sort of the hometown of Maurizio, has, you know, had given birth also to another very important figure, which combines arts and, you know, and business somehow, which is Fra Luca Pacioli, which was the inventor of the modern, I would say, accountability, you know, the modern balance sheet in the companies back to Middle Ages, Renaissance, again. So, I mean, from some point of view, it's no surprise you are, you know, a man with such, you know, very different interests and, you know, of such engagement and success, because, you know, you bring in your blood, you know, a little bit of the DNA which comes from the Renaissance, you know, from these glorious people from the past.
Well, thank you for that sum up. I really appreciate that. When we were talking, I was seeing another coincidence. As I said, I always don't believe in coincidence, but I said I believe in miracles. And that was a sentence that I commute by Sir John Hayes, that it was the first MP that I met in my career, in my life, and in UK MP, of course. And for example, I am a member of the Conservative Party as the Renaissance group.
Okay.
So have you seen that? And I appreciate what you said. I think that to be a Renaissance man is an honor, but I think that is one of the characteristics of a lot of Italians, in particular the Italians abroad. I've seen that our community here, there is incredible people, and I'm very proud. As always said, I'm very proud to be a British Italian. And sometimes people told me, what does it mean? It means that, of course, I support Italy on the World Cup because I'm British Italian. As an English is going to support England, as a Scottish is going to support Scotland, as a Welsh is going to support Wales.
Who did you support in the Euro final between England and Italy?
Oh, that was very simple. Was Italy? Was Italy? As I said, I'm British Italian, so you don't ask that question to a Scottish. The Scottish is going to support Scotland. So as a British Italian supports Italy, of course. That is different in the Olympic because it's GB team. Yeah. That was different. That was really more complicated. But because there is no GB team or British team, there was a UK, an English team or a Scottish team or a Welsh team. It was very easy for me to support Italy.
Thank you, Maurizio, for telling us your story tonight. It was absolutely fascinating, and I guess, as you said before, as you do in your company, lead the example. So I think you are an example for many Italians here in UK, not only Italians, but probably mainly Italians. And so see you next time, and we hope to have any some other major news, some other awards for you in the upcoming future.
Thanks to you for your time. Thanks a lot. Thank you.